around freely amongst each other, and we were just, and we were just free, freely loving each other freely. So from Rousseau, the idea of society and structure and obligation and as a family and so on, it's all what is caused. This is what is robbing us of our freedom, and we have to regain our original freedom. And very much like the hippie idea. Actually, Rousseau was kind of the first hippie philosopher. And but if you look at Rousseau's own life, he was ghastly actually. Of course it means freedom. It means a monkey freedom. You move around, you have sex with, because that's a freedom basically when it comes down in the material world. And actually Rousseau, it's kind of known that he fathered 5 children, by loose sexual connections. And all of them, he just took them afterwards. The children, placed them outside a, what's called like a orphanage, yeah, and left them, and nobody knows what happened to them, because he didn't want to be, obliged or tied to them, someone. So actually, he was really a ghastly, and you can see that it's, actually, there was another contemporary philosopher at one point, got to know Rousseau and his personal life, and he's actually shocked. He said, "He's a monster, that man." But anyway, that's very much the idea. We somehow have the idea we should be free, we should just move around, but the result is the opposite. Everyone is. Of course, the world becomes chaos, becomes completely chaotic. Everyone only caring for themselves, and everyone becoming more miserable, more lonely, and especially we just become more and more enslaved by our senses and mind. It's the very opposite of freedom. It's actually we become more and more slaves to the point of being addicts of drugs, addicts of alcohol, addicts of sex, addicts of television, addicts of money, just addicts of, completely being pulled around by the senses. There's no freedom in that. So the actual source of real freedom, this is knowledge, vows, austerities being described here. This is what actually gives real freedom. One becomes free, one becomes transcendental to completely detached to the senses, to the mind. One becomes situated in one's actual spiritual nature, where one can experience real happiness and real freedom. Freedom doesn't, in that sense, exist as such. We're always dependent. But our freedom is there in relation to Krishna, that we serve, serving Krishna, because this is really our deep desire. And when we are situated in that position, we are only doing what we want to do, namely serve Krishna. And for that we perform, the devotee is very happy to perform vows, cultivate knowledge, perform austerities, because he's connected with Krishna. This is the real thing. Whereas in the material world, of course, materialists also will become, strong and somewhat purified by austerity, etc. But still, they cannot sustain that, because it becomes dry, and they have to at one point let go and throw themselves into sense enjoyment, because we cannot really exist without being connected with happiness. We have to be connected with Krishna's happiness potency. And the natural way is that we simply are serving Krishna, and this way we are directly serving Krishna's pleasure potency and experiencing immense pleasure. But when one doesn't have that, then one has to somehow or other associate with this shadow pleasure potency, which is sense enjoyment, and which actually is just miserable and temporary. But there is a brief glimpse of happiness, and souls cannot really live without happiness. So the materialist cannot sustain their austerities always. At one point they have to somehow associate with happiness, but that of course brings frustration. Then they are again trying to be renounced, and they battle from this Bhoga Chakra. Devotees can stay fixed in performing strong renunciation, strong detachment, and at the same time be completely happy. This is actually the test of a devotee. It's a devotee will perform severe austerities and vows, such as following the four regulated principles, following the whole sadhana process, serving Krishna like that. It's actually a great austerity. But if one actually is doing a devotional service, one becomes very happy. One doesn't become hard-hearted or frustrated or bitter or something like that. Because that happens in the material world. Like we said, like yogis who just perform austerities can become very, very hard and very angry. We're not meant to become, very hard and angry when we perform austerities. Actually, we're meant to just be happy and blissful and perform austerities at the same time. That's you might say the test of devotional service. Vows are, like someone actually gave an example that's, for example, one might, as a vow, fast on Ekadasi. So sometimes there's a movement in we should fast on Ekadasi. And it's actually, I'm sure it's beneficial to do it completely fast. I'm not advocating I don't do it. I'm not. It's recommended in one sense. One can do it if it's favorable. But if the result of, for example, fasting on Ekadasi, one becomes completely tired and frustrated, one thing, unable to perform on service, and then the day after, one is so angry, one is yelling and barking at everyone, and then I ask, what's wrong with you? But yeah, I was fasting the whole day yesterday, and so that's not, that's useless. And it's not meant to be like that. One performs an austerity. First of all, it's not something one does like externally. It's fasting is something one does very quietly. Doesn't have to announce to the whole world, today I'm fasting. Who wants to be part of this fasting program? And, you're not fasting, you must. It's if one's fasting, so one just fasts. It's not a big thing. It's not that the whole world has to know that I'm fasting. And one just does it as a service to Krishna, and then goes on with one's services undisturbed. If one can do it and become enlightened and like that, then it's proper austerity. Anyway, it's not, Prabhupada didn't particularly recommend, also didn't discourage, but we have our austerities, which are simple to follow the whole process of devotional service, follow the four regulated principles, and live in the association of devotees, work with devotees, and serve in whatever capacity it is needed to serve. This is a great austerity. But if it's actually done for the sake of Krishna's pleasure, for the sake of advancing, for purification, one actually becomes also very happy and satisfied doing that. And gradually, as one also becomes, stronger. In the beginning, becomes quite weak, but if one follows this process, the devotional process of austerity, etc., one will actually, just become stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. that's inevitable. It is. I mean, that is the path. There's no. I mean, this is how the universe works. It's based on performing austerity, and vows. One has to follow. If one makes a vow, again, that's human life. One keeps a vow. One takes a vow. One keeps a vow, and that makes one very strong. And yeah. Anyway, I think I'm going to stop here. You want to add something? Comments? Question?
Mention about this with the body, that the body takes care of the body like that.
Yeah.
Not that he wants it to be strong or anything like that, in that sense. But we can also read in the eighth canto. I actually read some quite interesting things in the Gajendra pastime, where he's attacked by the crocodile and he's in the water. And Srila Prabhupada said everybody must be in a normal condition of life. And he states the three things which devotees must possess. And that's physical strength, and it's sensual power, and that's one more thing. I believe it was enthusiasm. But these three things he mentioned that devotee must possess. Like that.
Yeah.
So
it's great art. I mean, it's yukta. It's the art of being balanced. One has to find the right balance. We should perform austerity, but also we should not perform too much austerity, because we don't have, we cannot have the capacity to, for example, fasting, for days and days, or just fasting fully kali like that. For many, it's too much austerity. So one has to find, one should not perform too little austerity, one should not perform too much austerity. One should not eat too much, one should not eat too little, sleep too much, sleep too little. And one should be rightly situated. One situation for one might not be the right, so one has to situate oneself properly. Prabhupada talks about brahmacharya, grihastha, sannyas, which one has to figure out where is one strongest, where is one best situated.
Yeah, it was nicely pointed out there that actually this whole cause of the bodily constitution is the consciousness. That's actually the major factor. Where practically, like one of the reasons of disease is anxiety. It's all about consciousness. It's not exactly even the constitution or the physical circumstances which define health. It's mostly coming from inside, the anxiety and the type of consciousness which is in the body. It's like Prabhupada made this shocking statement that brahmachari means that one is never sick. It's proved that one's a brahmachari. Well, one can interpret it that I will define it in a physical terms only, but actually it's generated from the consciousness. That's actually the reason why the body first comes the consciousness and then the bodily symptoms are there.
And then one bodily symptom is that the body generally is not sick. Of course, sometimes all bodies get sick sometimes, but overall, actually, the body should not be sick. He should generally also be physically a healthy person and not sickly.
It's a very, very subtle point and very dangerous, because we saw so many times devotees just focus on their body and their Ayurvedic terms and whatever. You remember these boxes of medicine flying to the North European zone? I don't know if you had that invasion in Denmark. These Chiteshwara generated boxes.
No, not Chiteshwara, we had another one. We had the Herbalife movement.
Oh.
Remember that?
And it was like the key to spiritual life. It became like the doors to Vaikuntha. And I remember as a manager, these boxes of the stinky medicines from India, very expensive, imported, and because it was not palatable to take, so it remained in the storages, and we just threw it in the containers in a certain way. This is like another extreme I can go for.
It's there are fashions, we have these health fashions, but it's, it is, there's both extremes. There's those, who get so much into the body that they're always sick. This health food, this vitamin, this therapy and this powder and this Chyawanprash and they're always somebody, they're always some sickly, and every time there's a new, kind of, written about as everyone has a certain kind of fungus, I have that fungus also now for the sitting. So that happens, but also the other extreme, just to be transcendental to the body and let it crumble, that's also bad. I mean, as you know, I'm quite much a health freak, you know that. But it is.
But you're also a devotional service freak, that's another thing.
Yeah, it's I don't know, but I mean, one has to find the right balance between, like very practical physical, eat properly, rest properly, clean, avoid contaminations, but also have the right mindset that basically, because I found actually with talk diseases, if you kind of decide, I'm not going to get sick, then you don't get sick. Then there might be a little lingering kind of something, but say, no, actually I don't want to be sick. Because there's also the psychology of many times you want to be sick. I can lay down, I can just read. I don't have to, that is a great way, or like children, if they have a hard time in school, then they somehow or other become sick because they don't want to go to school. So I found also one has to ask oneself, well, what do I really want? Do I want to be sick actually? Or do I want to be not sick? And then if you can make a decision, actually I want to be not sick, I want to be healthy. That often power itself can change it.
There was even a statistic, I think, in Latin America that 70% of the diseases are self-healing. That means they just pass by.
Oh, yeah.
So if one doesn't change anything or doesn't do anything, then it also passes by. It just doesn't depend on the external circumstance.
You don't need doctors.
Yeah.
Of course, doctors are quick to. I had in Maya, I went to a doctor because I had I had a feeling in my back. I thought it was even like some, what I call this disc.
Yeah, it's okay.
So I was afraid. So I went to him and asked him. He said, "Oh, but there's nothing." He just didn't have anything, and he said, "There's nothing." So it's okay. I said, "And I'll give you some medicine." He said, "There's nothing. I don't think this."
And there was a professional doctor who was here visiting recently from Czech Republic, and he himself tells me there's only two ways you go to the doctor: by acute, something happened, broke, or some acute pain, or long-term problem. Otherwise you don't, because he said they're like fire brigade men. If you go to a fire brigade building and say there might be a fire, they will immediately pull a hose and start to extinguish, because that's what they are trained for.
Yeah. The doctor giving medicine. And of course, even doctors say, in Prabhupada, I think it was in Allahabad, he had this house with his pharmacy, and there was and then he rented out part of the house to a doctor. You know this? He rented out to a part-time to a doctor, and then the doctor, he was there, he was prescribing medicines from the pharmacy, and Prabhupada was completely open about, we had an agreement like that, and we would make money both of us.
You find in the bottom of any hospital is the pharmacy, because they have a contract.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, three things. Something, because you talked about being strong and eating a lot, and I remember the story about Bhima. Under my brother,
Bhima.
So, and you can also see there's a special thing in that. Even for also a human strength could be, and he was allowed to have only one Ekadasi in a year. There's many special things with how we perform devotional service, what kind of character we have, what kind of strengths we have, and also I wrote things down here like responsibilities is is also a big deal of growing up in Krishna consciousness. I see it in myself, that if you don't take responsibility, you don't go further.
No.
If you stay there and don't do, you actually have to learn to take responsibilities for your daily life, your future, for how you develop Krishna consciousness.
And for service. I mean,
that's what I mean.
You know, actually, there's particular service, and you assume responsibility for that service. It's very important. I mean, there are. I mean, some devotees stay just on the kind of the festival level, which I mean, you know, it's not bad as such, but it's just, you know, you just move around, and here's a festival, and here's some nectar, and the sun is shining. There's a big parikram, and you just, but you're not committed to anything really. You just, wherever there's something nice, there's some ecstasy and like that, you move around. And it's actually, one doesn't grow as a devotee. Growing as a devotee means one is given a service, and then one takes it and makes it responsibility, and I'll make sure, even if the whole world, goes to, the whole world crashes, I'll still continue this service. I'll continue.
And if you are not able to do it, then you should understand that in yourself and learn how you do. Can you give that responsibility to another devotee or something like this?
Yeah.
Because I see in myself, my strength is gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
I don't have any physical strength anymore. So I just see, what can I do? How can I do it? And when can I do it?
And it's the one thing also that, it's not that, devotees can become physically very strong, but also many devotees are, like Krishna's arrangement, are weak and cannot do much. That's also, it's all whatever, it's Krishna's arrangement in whatever situation we're in. Because, physical strength, of course, is not a symptom of devotion, and those who are weak have no devotion. That's not, of course, not that. That's not at all the conclusion. Jai, I think we must stop here. Thank you for your patience and attention. Shri Prabhupada.
Jesus.